Oh, yeah, on anything else. Hey, guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. I keep changing the name, but it was Coffee and Conversations. Now I have it Real Estate Conversations and More. It's probably going to change its name, but the one person who will not change in this, besides me, is the one and only Walt Key, Mr. Hawaiian Vibe, and he's with Epic Realty. He's an area manager. You can tell me if that's the wrong title, area director, area manager with Epic. And we get to talk every week about what's going on in our worlds, what's going on in his world. And then we got some national stuff to talk about today. Welcome back from Canada, Walt.
Yes. Happy to be back. I did not bring any maple syrup this time. I honestly thought about it. So if you're not familiar with Canada, everyone knows that maple syrup is like Canadians do it so well. But most people don't know that ketchup chips. That's like a Canadian treasure. Ketchup chips. So good. So good. So my son actually loves them. From the last time I came by, I brought some home a couple of years ago. I was in Canada helping some real estate agents learn how to have better conversations. And someone told me about it. And I'm like, ketchup chip, never heard of it. So I tried them. I'm like, wow, like this is a thing. So I brought bags of them home in my luggage to share with the family. And my son loves them now. Like we find them on Amazon if we have to, and we pay an exorbitant amount of prices to get him some. And I thought about bringing some back. And then I was like, customs will be like, did you declare anything? And they want to hit me with a tariff on the tomato chips. I'm like, it ain't worth it. So all I did is went, launched, came home. Like, and
we'll talk about the launch. This is a big deal.
It was a lot of fun. So we were actually at one of Canada's largest real estate conventions. It's called Realtor Quest. Happens in Toronto. Huge expo center. Thousands of booths. Thousands of people there. Brokerages and sponsors and vendors. And you know the deal if you've ever been to a real estate convention. So we had two different booths there. Epic Realty had two different booths there because we're launching officially in Toronto, Canada on June 1st. Amazing. So we used that opportunity just to go and have some conversations and share some information about what we're doing, how it's different, some of the benefits that we're bringing to Canada that they look and go, oh, no other brokerage has done that. So it was a lot of fun. We were only there a couple days, but it was great conversations. Canadians are always so friendly. I love going to Canada.
Yes.
Just amazing people. So super excited about launching in Canada on June 1st, and then we'll roll it out to other provinces as we go.
I think people don't understand like the power of that because, if you're focused solely on your own little world, opening Canada doesn't mean anything. But in reality, it does impact any of the realtors who are with Epic.
Well, I would argue, you're right, but I would argue, especially for Florida, some people don't realize just how intertwined Canada and Florida is in the real estate space. So without getting super nerdy on everybody, the Canadian mortgage industry is very, very different than the U.S. mortgage industry.
Yes.
And it's a little bit more complicated to buy investment property because of the way their mortgages are constantly refinancing. Whereas in America, we have a 30-year fixed.
Right.
So Florida is the number one investor destination for Canadian investors. There are lots of Canadians that want to park their money here in Florida and not have to worry about refinancing their mortgage every 5 years. So There really is a very tangible relationship between Canada and Florida in the real estate space. And a lot of people might not understand that, but if you go partner with some folks in Canada because they're looking to spend money in Florida.
Correct. Yeah, I totally agree. I get a lot of Canadians wanting to do investment properties, obviously. And I know the market's been up and down in that, but we still have a pretty healthy one here in like Reunion and near the parks. And, it seems like they're still coming in. They're still building their themed houses with the themed rooms. There's 13 different rooms. It's wild, the stuff that they put here in Orlando or the Orlando area. But yeah, Canadian interest is definitely healthy here. Yeah. So congratulations on that. That's a big deal. And I'm glad you got to go up there and get ketchup chips, which apparently I'm going to have to try now.
Yeah.
I have never heard of them before. All right. So what else is going on?
Well, I mean, I think it's, in the real estate space, it's always fun to talk about credit. So let's talk about nationally. Like the U.S. just got their credit score bumped down.
Yeah.
So if you're not tracking this, ladies and gents, on Friday afternoon, Moody's, which is one of 3 primary credit agencies for governments, not like your FICO score, they just downgraded the United States credit. Now, again, without getting super nerdy, there's actually 21 different credit tiers. We were at the top. We are now at second from the top. So there's still 20 tiers below where we're at.
Correct.
But we are not AAA rated by Moody's anymore. Now, funny that Moody's was actually the holdout here. The other 2 of the 3 credit bureaus had already downgraded us. And it's great to read what they were thinking when they did this, because it's 100% true. I've harped on this for years, and finally took Moody's. Moody's woke up and they're like, oh, I guess we should listen to Walt. We as a government, we spend so much money and we borrow so much money that we are now paying $1 trillion with a T, $trillion just on the interest of the money we've already borrowed. And we continue to rack up a deficit. So Moody's finally said, listen, we just can't do this anymore. You guys fiscally are not where you should be. We're going to downgrade you. We're going to take you down a peg. Now, functionally, some of that was already baked in because the other 2 had already downgraded us. But if you go look at the 30-year fixed right now, it's up. There's the bond market responded to the Moody's downgrade. And then, of course, the mortgage market responds to the bond investors and the yields. So as of maybe 10 minutes before the show started, I like to look at Mortgage News Daily just for a quick aggregate. They do a survey and say, where are we at on an average? As of today, the 30-year fixed is up a little over 0.1%, which actually pushed us back above the 7 mark from their survey average. Now, you can still get a mortgage below 7, right? You got great lenders that can do better. You can do some points and buy it down. But, not really what we wanted to see in a market where we're trying to get interest rates lower. We're trying to get the buyers back out there. We do have an increase in inventory. Inventory in Northeast Florida. I know you're in Orlando, Ted, but here in Northeast Florida, the 9 counties that make up Northeast Florida, inventory is up about 10%.
Yeah.
Median sales price is up still. I mean, median sales price went up about 2.9% in April, but we are definitely seeing more inventory come on the market, and we're not seeing the buyers ready to dive in on that. You could argue that's not really a bad thing. We're 4.5 months of inventory. We're just now getting to a point of a balanced market.
Right.
The problem is we've been an unbalanced market for so long that getting back to a balanced market feels like a shakeup.
Yes.
We need people to start to wake up and realize that it's not a catastrophe. Yes, inventory is going up as it needs to. And eventually those buyers are going to start buying those houses again, but we're only 4.5 months of inventory.
What do you think what do you think the tipping point is? We've talked about this on the show before. There's the tipping point. We haven't hit it.
Yeah.
We talked about 6.5%, I believe.
Yeah.
But as things keep moving up, I mean, on my side, I'm getting more people inquiring.
Yeah.
But there's still, like, I have a lot of pre-approvals out there. Yeah. And they're still waiting and not really liking the price, and the communication between, or the expectations between sellers and buyers still isn't at that point that we've talked about.
I honestly think that 6.5% mark is about the psychological tipping point for most buyers, right? Obviously, everybody's going to do it slightly. And the reason I say that is because I'm a nerd and I look at all the data. When we tipped back down to about the mid 6s, we saw a pretty good uptick in refis. We saw a pretty good uptick in pre-approval applications. Right. And then very shortly thereafter, interest rates popped right back up. Yep. And that went away. So I based on that data point, I think it's fair to say that 6.5%, give or take maybe 0.1%, is where the vast majority of buyers are going to go, this is good, let's dive back in.
Yeah.
The problem is they're all going to dive back in together.
Well, yeah,
we're going to eat up that inventory so fast,
so quickly.
Prices are going to go up again
so quickly,
and then we're going to be right back in the inventory shortage that we've been at. So
correct. It's going to be interesting.
If you're a buyer, go buy now. I know it sucks. Like my mortgage payment's going to be higher because it's 7. Get ahead of that frenzy. Do yourself a favor, because when that frenzy happens, and it will happen, maybe it'll happen in a few months, maybe it'll happen later in the year, maybe it'll happen 2026. We don't have our crystal ball. But when it happens, prices are going to go up, and you will have already started locking in equity because you bought your house a little bit. Be the early adopter in this.
It's everything.
Diving back in.
I agree. The people that are on the fence, the other thing is that you get your pre-approval and then you wait, and anything can change in your world.
Yeah. Anything
can change in the world, but it can also change in your world. So if the rates are 0.5 point off than whatever your tipping point is, let's assume the 6.5, just look at that long term and try to figure out. Because honestly, your job, we had a lot of people going into before the Doge cleanup. I'll use cleanup. That's the word I just see in newspapers all the time. People really didn't expect their job security to be impacted, or at least the worry. There's fear that job security is going to be impacted based on all of the news pretty much that you read. And so you really have to kind of look at that long term, because things can change. So anyway, I love that tipping point, because I have conversations with buyers and realtors all the time. And I'm like, what is it going to take? And almost always it's like, well, I'd like to see the rate here. And it always kind of goes right around that 6.5%.
Yeah, that's about I call it the gasoline effect. Right. And most people can relate to this. If you remember a couple of years ago, maybe it's been a few years ago now, time flies when you're having fun. So my perception of time gets off. But gasoline prices were in the high 2s. And over a summer, they spiked into like the low 4 as a national average. Like they went from 2, the dollar bill said 2, and it went to 4.
Yep.
And everyone was like, oh my gosh, I'm never driving again. I'm selling my car. Like it was just pandemonium.
Wild.
And then the gas prices came back into the mid 3s. And everyone went, whoo, these gas prices are looking good.
So
now,
great.
They didn't go back to the 2s where they were, but we have such a short-term memory that we saw 4s and now we see 3s, and it feels better, even though 3 is still higher than 2. I believe that mortgage rates are the same way. We had a very short-term memory, and we were looking at 3% interest rates, 3.5% interest rates. And then they went up to 8 over a relatively short period of time.
I remember.
Well, listen, 3s are gone. They're not coming back. But when we come from 8 down to the 6s, well, that feels like a really good drop.
Feels so good.
Even though it's higher than the 3s, which are never coming back anyway. So I call that the gasoline effect. There's going to be that breaking point where people go, yeah, these rates look good. It feels right. Even though we're not going to get back to where we were.
It's so true. And whatever it takes, we would all love some movement. And I think just paying attention and listening to the show, and I love that you call yourself a nerd, but that's the kind of stuff, because what we're giving is like real information. The problem with the information that most people get, it's either from social media or from a very skewed source, no matter what side of the aisle or side of the world you're on. And so to try to maneuver through all of that information to get to the truth is a challenge for most people.
For sure.
So they give up, and then they just listen to the Chicken Little, where the sky is falling, and they sit, and then they wait.
And the last thing I'll say about that is we could talk about, inventory went up. We could talk about there's not enough buyers. The rates are too high still. They're not coming down yet. Yada, yada, yada. Every single day, sellers need to sell, buyers need to buy, even right now in this market. So don't use the data as an excuse not to go grow your business, right? Whether you're a lender or a real estate agent.
Correct.
I love doing these calls on Monday because immediately before these calls, I'm doing a 1 hour long accountability call for my 100K in 100 days challenge, which has lenders and real estate agents in it, learning how to grow their business in this market. And so usually over the weekend, we'll jump into the group and we'll say, hey, post your wins. How'd your week go? What do you got? Same thing every week. Put 3 buyers under contract. Got 2 new FSBOs that I can market the property. Like we're out. business is still happening.
Agreed.
So yes, the data points might not look as good as we want them to. That doesn't mean everybody out there has paused on their real estate aspirations. Some people have to move.
Agreed.
Some people want to sell. Some people want to buy. Some people have to sell. Some people have to buy. There are still transactions closing out there. You just got to maybe tweak the way you're having conversations. You might have to proactively look for business where before it kind of came to you. You might have to go to the business. You might have to do a little hunting. That's okay. It's still happening right now. I was just
somebody's
on the call.
doing it.
People are getting after it.
Yep. Somebody's doing it. And so, all right, as we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about any events that you have going on. You're in the middle of a workshop, a series. What do you have on your agenda, my friend?
So I don't have a ton of events going on right this second. So our 100K challenge, we launched it early May. It's rocking and rolling. We're pausing the challenge for a couple months. We are tweaking it, refining it, improving it, and we're going to roll out 100K in 100 Days 2.0 in the next couple months. So it is going to be even better, even more fun, even more productive for the agents and the lenders that are in it. So I don't have a ton of events going on right now because we're taking that pause to dive in. Now, I will say for anyone who wants it, our Agent Alliance Facebook group, dive in. It's free. It's public. Anybody can be in there. Every single Wednesday, we do a completely free coaching call for anyone who wants to be on it. We post the subject. We post the link. We post all of that in the Facebook group. So just go look up the Agent Alliance Facebook group. There's about 36,000 people in it. Dive into the group. Even if I'm not running an actual structured event, we are teaching every single week to help agents and loan officers go out there and crush business. And it's free. You're welcome to jump in.
And listen, if you haven't had the pleasure of being on one of Walt's calls or webinars or workshops, you're missing out for sure. And I can tell you that firsthand because I have been on many actually. And so everything that he teaches, everything that his people teach, anything that goes on where you're involved, it's always the real stuff. It's real and it works and you work it and you can speak from experience, which we've talked about on the show before. I
think that's what makes our training different. And I say ours, right? It's not always me. You guys will get tired of seeing some schmuck in a Hawaiian shirt. But me, Rob, Chris, the people that we bring in, because we bring in other guest coaches, we only teach what we know based on our actual real world experience. So we're not trying to give you any sort of philosophical mumbo jumbo. We're just showing you how to go out and crush business. Every single coach is teaching what they are using to crush it. All you got to do is take what we're giving you and go run with it.
And that's what you do, my friend. All right. Walt, what is the best way that they can find out more about you?
Oh man. Linktree, Walt Key. So
I've got it scrolling across there.
linktr.ee/Walt Key. That's the easiest way. If you're on Facebook, Walt Key, I'll be the only guy in a Hawaiian shirt with 8,300 followers, so I'm easy to find. If you see someone with a Hawaiian shirt and they're pretending to be me, they probably won't have the follower account, so you'll know it's spam.
They will not.
But
you all
follow me on socials.
If you have questions during the week, you want to hear something, please reach out to us because we will. Our goal is to go live every Monday instead of filming. So if you have questions, you can reach out to me anytime or reach out to Walt. We'd love to talk about them because we know you all have a lot on your mind. And think about Walt, and you can think about me from the same perspective. Coach, sharing information, wanting you to succeed. And so if there's something you're struggling with, have a challenge, have a question on, maybe your broker or your team lead isn't giving you what you need or want, we would love for you to ask that question and let us address it or talk about it online.
Absolutely.
All right.
We all win together.
We all win together. Thank you guys so much. Walt, we'll see you next week, buddy.
Amazing.
Welcome back. All right, guys. See you soon. Bye, everybody.